So for those who don't know me, I'm Zoran Markovic, and welcome to Frontend Setup Talk. Let's imagine one guy who wants to quit cigarettes, for example, Dragan. Or maybe some guy who wants to do a bungee jump. So it's not easy decision, right? So we need somebody to push us. We can do it. That can be your own best friend, maybe your colleague next to you, or maybe it's a client with some request. So 2 years ago, I have joined Daimler project, and project itself started in 2015. So you can guess the front-end setup is old as project itself. In our front-end circle, we had a lot of meetings where basically we discuss should we update our front-end or not, but that never happened. Why? Partially because from our current team, nobody was involved in its creation. And also, not many of us was very familiar in detail how it's really working. So our meetings end up basically usually like, okay, if it's working fine, don't touch it. We don't want to break it because we have a website in production. So one day, our client came to us with one simple request. Website need to be loaded much faster. So let's see which challenges we face on this bumpy road. What we were sure about, it was that we didn't want to do any bigger factoring with our code base. Because this can be a complex task, also it can be time consuming, and at the end it will be expensive. So we wanted to stick to current proven technologies, which will bring us the best performance. So we turned out to HTTP2. And in order to take advantage of HTTP2, we needed to modularize our components. What that means? That means that we wanted to serve CSS and JavaScript only for components which are basically loaded on the page. And in order to do that, we needed to go to next step, the modularization. And modularization triggered front-end setup update at the end. So let's see these steps in detail now. Here, I'm not going to talk about what is HTTP 1 or 2, because everybody should be familiar with this topic and it's widely used right now. Instead, I'm going to show you a simple overview of how we used it before. So with the HTTP 1 setup, here on this example with JavaScript, we have a lot of files here. So we create one big bundle and then serve on the page. And here on the page, for example, we have only A, B, and C component. That means that code from D and E component will be served on the page, but it will not be used. And this is bad for performance, of course. So let's see how HTTP2 can help us here. And we can basically take advantage of it and send multiple requests for data in parallel over a single TCP connection. This was just in case if I forgot. But I'm good. Let's see. Okay, HTTP2. So we now switch to our modularized components. Basically, we're going to have JavaScript and CSS for every component, and we're going to serve that in parallel to the page. And as you can see here, we don't serve now code for D and E. So we're just serving the things which we need on the page. This will basically pick up, and also we will have better performance at the end. You will see that. So in order to do this, we needed to modularize our components, which leads us to our next step. You can get some position. So I'm going to show you here how our front-end structure was looked like before. before we have SAS and JavaScript on really different locations in the project, and we end up creating new folder called components. And in this new folder, we're gonna move all components which we have, basically JavaScript and CSS for these components will go to this folder. I mean, folder inside of it with name of that component. Also, keep in mind, we're gonna save this general file. In this case, it's called general, where we have all stuff left, like common stuff or base or init stuff for JavaScript, plugins, all common stuff was there still. So we're just going to create this new component. And in this point now you will see that we're going to have later multiple entry points for Webpack that we need to resolve. You need to pay attention to that. We'll get to that. So let's see our new component, how this new component look like. Now we have in one place, we have first author folder, then publish folder, and inside we have content.xml. There we're going to configure our client lib category name, which will at the end be the same name as the name of the component. Then we have entry point for JavaScript, where that will be basically our init file for JavaScript, where we include all other files. Same for SAS in this example. Here we have just one file, but if you have more files, you can import all other files in this file. And CSS.txt and JS.txt will be having inside only target.css and target.js file names, nothing special. The key point is that how Webpack will figure out what to use is basically on the path to that file. And one of the key things here to remember now, you'll get to that later, this entry name. I will mention later why it's important. And yeah, we create these new files now. We have new JavaScript file, we have new CSS file, so we need to include them on the page. On this way, we're going to basically include them in the top of every component. That means, if you think about it, if you can imagine the page with like 10 components, so you can see that we're going to end up with CSS and JavaScript in the middle of the page injected, which is not good. Can somebody tell me why it's not good?
Because JavaScript blocks the render of the page.
Exactly. You get a bonus. Okay, how we solve that? Basically, we build a custom client library template. It's built by backend guy, Thomas Hartman. What this thing will do, basically it will do post-processing on server side. It will basically move all CSS in the head and all JavaScript at the end of the body. And in that way, we're going to fix that problem. How we include our JavaScript and CSS, we can do client-lib.all. This means that we're going to include JavaScript and CSS as well, since all our components usually have both files. And category name will be the name of the component dot publish, in this case, because it's coming from publish folder. And if we need the author, in this example, we just include CSS for author. We can do that for JavaScript as well with client-lib.js. And also we can add additional parameters there, like async true or defer true, or ignore rewrite true. That means that you basically will not move this file from the top of the component. But usually we don't want that. Maybe we can use that for some testing or whatever. But we have a lot of options there. And what is even better, we can add any new parameter which we need, and we are very flexible with this custom template. So next step, since we now have these new JavaScript and CSS files, we basically need to build them in Webpack. So that triggered front-end setup update. The good news about this setup, it was old, but it was based on Gulp and Webpack 1. So we was familiar with these technologies. So the first step will, of course, mean that we need to update Webpack, in this case, version 3. And now somebody will ask you why they didn't do it in version 4 directly. There is just two simple reasons. One is that in that time, Webpack 4 was just emerged, and it was all like maybe 3 months, and we didn't want to risk any bugs there or whatever because we have website in production. And next problem was that there is no official migration guide from 1 to 4 directly because it's breaking change there. And there is only guide from 1 to 2 or 3 or from 3 to 4. So we didn't want to do double thing there. It was time consuming. At the end, I do the POC from 3 to 4 before I left the project, and it was working. So it's possible. And also with 4, you will get less bigger, smaller bundles and faster build. So I recommend 4 if somebody have, for example, Webpack 2 or 3. It's good to have. Next step was modify Gulp, CSS task and JavaScript task, all the refactor watchers, and fix path problems. These last 3 steps we need to do because, as you remember, we move some files in our code structure, right? We extract components and move them in different locations. So we need to fix these path problems and all imports there, and watchers need to watch some new files now for these components as well. And also CSS also needed to build these new SAS files which are on different place. So let's see our Webpack. How it looks like. Simple. It has just Webpack config.js, which is really simple. It's almost the same like you can find in the official guide there, but all the work is done in Untitled.js. There we have methods for example, get config, get loaders, get plugins, get optimizations, get source files. Remember source file, it's really important. I will show you later. Index.js will be the init point. Path.js, you know what is inside all paths. Watchers and Karma for unit tests. I'm going to show you now a simplified version of Webpack task, how it looks like. The first main thing is to get entry path. So this is it's not just one path. There is, in this case, only there is two paths. As you remember, we have general one, the old one, plus components now. So we need to get that. Then we're gonna pass configuration for common chunk plugin. And here, we're gonna look only components folder. Why only components folder? Because we already have all common stuff in general.js. So we're gonna extract only common stuff from these components. And we have like 50 components, a lot of stuff there. Then we're gonna trigger our Gulp and pass source files. And again, this is the Webpack entry. Then we're gonna use this big name function, which will basically prepare target path. It will figure out, as you remember, I told you to remember entry.es6 file name. It will basically figure out, okay, if you have entry.es6, then you're coming from components folder. If you have main.js, you're coming from general folder. In that way, it will prepare, it will build 3 output points. So it will build one for general file, then it will build like 50 files for 50 paths for components. So this is not just one, this is like can be 50 of them. This is components, and in the end we have target modularized, this coming from common chunk plugin, which we pass configuration here. So the main takeaway for Webpack is basically you need to take care about these entry and output points. You cannot find this in any official guide. They have just only one entry point there and one big bundle as output. So it was really hard to us to figure out how to do it, especially as we have a lot of locations in which we need to take care of. And also in your project, it will be different. Every project has its own structure and have some customizations, so you need to do this manually. It's not hard thing to do. With Webpack 4, it's even easier. And yeah, maybe I can share my POC to Webpack 4 update somewhere. And let's see. Yeah, I want to show you one cool thing about Webpack. It's coming by default. It's that code elimination. On this slide, you will see now how it will not work. So first, we have used export default, and inside we have all these methods. And then when we want to use something, maybe we want to use just a bar, we use it like import utils, like all of them, and then Webpack will not do anything. The fix is really simple. You just need to export every single model which you have, and then if you need to use just one, then you import that one. Or you have like two, you just add comma and then the second one. In this way, Webpack will figure out which imports are not included, and it will eliminate these methods from the bundle. So it's nice. And now let's see our results, what we achieved. I'm going to show you a comparison of our product page, which is really big. We have a lot of images and it's really heavy. It can have a lot of components. And on web page test.org, let's see our results. So before, we need like 5.5 seconds until document complete. After, we need 4. And requests, we had 106 requests, and now we have 159 requests. So here you can see real proof that we have now more requests because we're serving more CSS and more JavaScript for every component now. And we have less kilobytes. So this is the proof that we are serving less code with more requests, and this leads to better performance. And here we can confirm that on Google Chrome audit. Before, mobile was just average speed, and desktop was good. And after, mobile went too fast, and desktop still good. Yeah, but we have mobile. So customer was really happy, and yeah, we was really surprised how it went good. And you remember, we didn't refactor our code base, so we didn't touch our code base. This is you end up this only with switching to HTTP2 and tweaking the setup, and that's it. So it's really simple, and you can do it. You can do it in your project, and never let the customer down. Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Lars. I'm just going to follow up quickly about what Zoran said and to see what can be learned from his experience. You saw that changing build tools in your project is a huge project, like everything, having a lot of inputs and outputs, a lot of files and libraries is always an issue. I don't know how much time actually did you spend on that, but it can be even
it's a lot of time.
a month, yeah. And we need to learn from experience from every project to create something that we can use Netcentric wide to solve that issue. It's not that easy, that's why we need actually help from everyone. And I think the main decision that Frontend Software made was to create like constantly evolving and living build tools and every other plugin that you're going to use in the future. So it's not going to be something that you're going to build today and leave people using that for the next 4 years without any updates, without any changes. And if you need to learn something, you need to ask someone who built that, otherwise you don't know nothing about it. Again, quick follow-up from the previous topic. So to create better performance and to create better the structure of the website so that the developer can have easier working experience, not just final product of better performance, we need to create good restructuring of the files, and we need to have good modularization. Of course, you can have HTTP2, but you don't have to. It depends on your project. So some particular team lead should decide. Maybe the biggest headache is updating the version of the plugin. Modularization is quite simple. So we just need to decide how to where to put our HTML files, where to put our CSS files, and JavaScript files. Sounds simple, but when you check how actually Sling is rendering our HTML, how Sling is deciding which HTML file to pull on the page, this is something that I always found when I searched about Sling and I saw it. And the image itself is a bit scary, and especially how that works in the background. That's why we don't have any special approach how to handle HTML files. So we left that as it was before, as its standard AM approach, just to use standard AM component structure as we already use. We don't have any big refactoring there. CSS in JavaScript is just client library, and if you want to use client library, you just need a category name for using just JavaScript, just CSS or everything. And that's it. You don't need anything else. You don't care where it is located. You don't care how the user, which page is opening, which is URL, how the Sling is going to handle that and stuff. So it gives us really a freedom to put those files wherever we want. The approach that we consider the best practice currently is separating those files into one package, into one main module. So when you build that, the only result should be the client libraries which you need for the website. It should not be mixed with HTML, with HTML, and other Java, just providing client libraries. So you can easily actually share that client library with other projects. We have that in the Henkel project. We have a lot of agencies which are developing some totally independent project, but they are on our platform. So they develop a project, we don't have source code for them. They ask us, okay, how can we use your plugin, for example, for a cookie note or any other component? We have a structure, we have everything, but we don't want to develop the full JavaScript logic, and we want to have the same design as current client preferences. And you just pass in the name, and that's it. The only difference, maybe comparing to the previous example, is that currently AM is proposing to use client library inside apps directory, not inside etc. Build tools. You saw that mess with Gulp, and build tools can be extremely complex if you add that complexity. I think the good decision was to avoid plugins as much as possible. So we have to use something, like for transpiling we have to use Bubble, for model bundling we have to use Webpack, for CSS we have to use non-SAS or less, just final plugin that we really need to process that file. And we needed help with for how to prefixer, which is unfortunately switched only to be used through post CSS. You cannot use standalone, so we have that combination. But everything else can be handled through AEM, so that you don't need to do that as a part of what you build. And you don't need to have Gulp, you don't need to have a lot of different plugins which are connected to that. That was our decision. Minimal plugin usage, to somehow create a build task which are in line with Maven cycle. That was a good request from backend developers. Felipe did a great job with creating extensible configuration for client library, so you don't have only one big file which is telling you what is the final result. You can extend that inside the same project. And it's somehow AM-centric. It's not anymore searching for that entry point where you put in some etc directory. It's AM-centric. You have client library-oriented build tool. You have a client library-oriented setup for the front-end files. We don't need to build non-AEM JavaScript and non-AEM CSS inside AEM. So we need to focus on client library and just to move around that. If you need CSS, we're going to include CSS. If you need JavaScript, including JavaScript. I started with this. The best approach was to figure out that we need to update that constantly. It should be like everyday living project, and I invite you again all to check this setup, to open some questions you have, to create pull requests, to fix something. That's also something which is not really that good practice in Netcentric. Yeah, we have some requests, we want something to be better, we want to change something, but we are not actually providing valid inputs good enough. We just complain when something is not good. And now you have opportunity to just test that, and if you have something, open a comment and even open a PR. Even changing typo errors in text, it matters a lot. That's the only way how can we go further. Otherwise, the person who created can have a lot of issues on their project, and we don't have enough time maybe to maintain it. And it will be again after 4 years, some other project will have request for the client to update something, they will have trouble again. So that should be like final conclusion of this small, I hope not boring talk. Thanks.